We got some big news at the running back position and the fantasy football impact regarding that. We got a running back dealing with a major injury. We got RJ Harvey potentially being impacted by the acquisition of J.K. Dobbins to the Broncos. I'm going to cover the fantasy impact there. We got Nick Chubb to the Texans. And of course, some news about guys like Ladd McConkey, Jefferson, and so much more. I'm going to keep you up to date. Make sure you guys turn on the bell, subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. So not only am I doing regular fantasy football content, we're going to be talking about NFL news as well, covering you around the year. So subscribe, turn on the bell, and let me know below after I'm done my analysis. It's very important. I want to make this ultra interactive. Drop a question or let me know below, what do you think of all the impact here with this running back fallout and this debacle that's going on here with these committees, because it's getting really out of hand. So going to get you guys up to date with the news and notes and the fantasy impact. Make sure you guys do hit the thumbs up, smash it, tap it, slap it. And if you want to get up to date on all the not even rankings, but when players are coming off and making sure that we crush the rankings, grab 16-round drafts. It's going to put you light years ahead of the sheep. I give you all the optimal players drafted each round. Sleepers, breakouts, late round steals. 16 rounds is the solution. It's not just a draft kit. It's an actual solution to help you guys crush your league. So you have an optimal roster, and you don't just draft based on ADP. That's how you lose your leagues. Everyone told you CMC first overall last year. Not going to help you guys win. Debo Samuel and Ayuk round 3 last year. Rankings don't work. Who was it? Christian Kirk ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. Not going to help you 16 rounds below, okay? So let's dive into the latest news and notes here. And without further ado, you guys haven't heard of, for a while here, but here he is.
We now have breaking news.
Breaking Brad. So I want to talk about this running back here that's dealing with a major injury. And then we'll get to the fallout here with RJ Harvey and Joe Mixon and all that stuff here. But I want to talk a little bit about some news here. But this running back here, and this is one of the main reasons I'm fading him, is Kenneth Walker has been limited in practice due to an ankle injury. According to head coach Mike McDonald, he told reporters on Tuesday, June 10th. This is what I'm talking about. I just don't trust Kenneth Walker. I remember his rookie year, I drafted him, I was a believer, and then he kind of went to the sideline, had a non-contact ankle injury. No coincidence here. Seems like he always has issues with the ankle. And then I posted it on social media, and I said, dude, get back on the field, and then he ends up blocking me. Listen, I'm done with Kenneth Walker. I don't trust him. I don't like him. I don't care for him. And already showing signs of injury, not a good sign. This is one of the main reasons I'm fading him. I just feel he's injury prone, okay? We got another potential injury here. We got Kyle Pitts is expected to take things slow during the offseason workouts. He's dealing with a foot injury, according to head coach Raheem Morris. And this is by far, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but by far, I would say Kyle Pitts is the biggest bust in NFL history. I just can't trust him. And mind you, he's great value. You can get this guy super late if you're looking for a tight end. I don't trust him. This guy was a first-round pick. I think he was 8th pick overall and in the 2021 draft, and has literally done nothing. Multiple different quarterbacks, ample opportunity to shine, has done absolutely nothing. So I do want to talk about Kyle Pitts and how I'm not drafting him, okay? We got other news here. Tyreek Hill was spotted catching passes during individual drills for the first time after undergoing wrist surgery. So obviously, the wrist thing, I don't think it's going to be a factor. Looks like he's healed up, but I think he's regressing. I think he's coming up this year. He had a down year. I think he's going to do better. I'm just not really a Tyreek Hill fan, okay? Brandon Ayuk is dealing with a knee injury. He's not expected to be ready to the start of the training camp. Knee injury, Brandon Ayuk, a guy that everybody was telling you last year to draft in the first round. I was telling you to avoid. He's just not that good. I would fade Ayuk I wouldn't even touch him, okay? A couple other things I want to talk about here worth mentioning. Anthony Richardson with his shoulder remains without a timeline to return. Again, another guy, Anthony Richardson. Injuries continue to plague this guy. And yeah, I'm definitely not touching Anthony Richardson for fantasy football. And, I got a lot of Tyler Warren stock, the rookie tight end. Some people don't know who that is. He was drafted in the first round by the Colts. I think he eats, but this is it for Richardson. I mean, this is a make or break year and you're already broken. It doesn't make sense to me at all. This guy just is not good. There's no words to describe it. There's such a big pool of quarterbacks that you can get. You don't want to waste your time with players like this. And going back to why you got to get 16 rounds, another guy I told you to avoid was Anthony Richardson last year. He was a top 5 quarterback. I'm like, dude, he's unproven and he was hurt his rookie year. Why would you do that? So yeah, I would definitely stay away from Anthony Richardson, okay? So let's talk about the fallout here. I want to talk about some running backs, and we'll get to the RJ Harvey thing here at the end. But I want to talk about James Cook as well. Apparently, he is attending minicamp, but it's unclear if he'll participate as he seeks a new contract. So apparently, I think he's going to get fined. I don't know what it is, $100,000 per practice. The guy's looking to be a top 3 to 5 paid running back, and I totally disagree with that. I'm not an advocate of, mediocre running backs. I don't think running backs that are average should get paid. If you look at his first 2 years, 2 touchdowns in those first 2 years, just crappy. He's not a good player. He is a product of the offense. That's just the bottom line. We've had similar players that just aren't good running backs thrive in offenses. Example, Le'Veon Bell, great situation through the years. Austin Eckler years ago with the Chargers, right? They're just not good running backs, yet they thrive in great situations with good O-lines where they have good receivers on the team that spread the defenses back and open things up, open holes, right? So I feel Cook had an anomaly year last year, 16 touchdowns, not going to happen again. And Buffalo understands this, and they know this. So when we're talking fantasy football impact and the running back impact and the fallout, Ray Davis is a great steal later. I would probably, if I were in the Bills, I wouldn't pay Cook at all, and I would just work to run Davis this year. I would definitely be working to run Davis and make sure that he is going to potentially be my workhorse. I think he's great talent. He just never got the opportunity. I think he could really thrive in that offense. So I would probably start working with Ray Davis and really start fading James Cook. And either way, I would fade both these guys. Maybe grab Davis later. I got him in a best ball league, Ray Davis, but other than that, I'm really staying away, okay? So let's talk about Nick Chubb here. He signs a 1-year deal, $2.5 million with the Texans, up to $5 million. Now, here's what really, really annoys me when I'm looking at these situations, okay? The NFL draft is done. Free agency was prior to that and a little bit after. Free agency is done. The depth charts have settled literally since May, just done, right? And then you get acquisition like this, and we're going to talk about the RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins thing in a second. But you got a situation here where I wasn't drafting Joe Mixon anyway. Why? Because I just think he lacks ceiling. I think Mixon's in a decent situation here with the Texans, right? But he lacks the upside. We've seen all that Joe Mixon can offer us through the years. They've got Damian Pierce there. They drafted Woody Marks, I think round 4 or 5 there. I thought Woody Marks would have been a great value as a guy that could emerge, right? They've added a lot of wide receivers. They added Jay Higgins, rookie, in the second round. Jalen Noel, I think, after that, a round or 2 after that. They got Nico Collins come back, hopefully healthy. So they got quite a few weapons here. CJ Stroud looking to bounce back. Mixon was in a decent situation. Now, I was not drafting Mixon just simply because I think he lacks a ceiling. He's older. I'm more into the young, dynamic, upside, hungry running backs that have a higher ceiling. And then you have Woody Marks, who is looking at, man, there's something there. I think there could have been something there with Woody Marks. And now in comes Nick Chubb, who, is just not going to have the ceiling that you want. He's not a great player. He's a good runner years ago. He lacks that PPR upside. He's in a committee now with Joe Mixon and Woody Marks and everybody else there. It's just a disaster for fantasy. And this is the problem that really upsets me, because I think a lot of teams, and I think a big part of this is some of these prop sites, right, where you can bet on these stats, is they really want to manipulate and create a lot of uncertainty around the running back position, particularly because you used to have workhorse running backs like Adrian Peterson that would guarantee you the volume. I knew that Adrian Peterson was going to get X amount of touches per game and X amount of rushing yards per season. And now with these committees, there's so much uncertainty as to who's going to run when and how they're going to perform and what their ceiling is going to be because of situations like this one. So I'm personally fading all of them. And this just reaffirms and reassures that the running back position is scarce, and you still have to go running back early. I cannot emphasize that enough, that you have to go running back early and secure the most sacred and scarce position, because it was looking really good. Guys like Mixon were free and clear. Guys like RJ Harvey were free and clear, which we're going to talk about. It's free and clear, and yet now we've got to deal with this BS and completely negate certain backfields because of these way off season moves that were outside of free agency where these players shouldn't even be acquired. Okay, so I want to talk about that. So fade the Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon situation. Now let's talk about something that's really pissing me off a lot. And I want to talk about what I'm doing personally, and maybe it's a bit of ego. I'm going to be straight up with you. A little bit of his ego, a little bit of his anger, a little bit of his emotion. Now, you should never let emotion cloud your judgment for fantasy football, but in this case, I am. Okay, so I'm going to tell you straight up. Let me explain though, okay? There is some logic to it. So J.K. Dobbins signs a 1-year, $2.74 million deal with the Broncos, which absolutely infuriates me because J.K. Dobbins shouldn't be on a team. Now, here's why I dislike J.K. Dobbins. A couple reasons. Number one, he's injury prone. We know that. Number two, he's not good. Like, I'll give you a quick example, right? Last year, like, you have the opportunity to absolutely crush it with the Chargers in a great situation, and he just couldn't put up anywhere near top 5 Saquon, top 10 number. It couldn't do that, right? Because he's not good. If you had put in, let's say, a Saquon there, he would have broke every or a Gibbs and gave him the full volume with the Chargers last year, would have broke every record. Now you're saying, well, Joe, don't compare Dobbins to Gibbs. Listen, when I'm drafting a running back, or if I want a fantasy running back on the team, I want him to potentially be better than Barkley or Gibbs or Henry and all these guys. I'm looking for massive ceiling. That's my goal. That's what I look for when I'm drafting. That being said, this actually works towards an advantage. The fact that he sucks, he's going to, the Broncos. Now, I ended up doing a draft already, 2K buy-in, where I got Harvey, but he's part of a robust RB committee. He's part of my four-headed monster at running back. But I still believe I'm not going to let this factor my decision on drafting him. Now, I did a best ball draft yesterday, and I was at the end of 4th round. He was there. I grabbed him. And honestly, if I didn't grab him, I don't think he would have made the turn coming back. I didn't want to play that chance. I still like Harvey. I think he's the best talented running back. I still think he's going to be a 3-down workhorse. I think, here's my prediction. Fingers crossed. Joe, you're such a terrible person. J.K. Dobbins is going to get hurt before the season starts. And that's the bottom line. Listen, you guys say, well, why do you care about Dobbins? Well, guess what? Why don't you care about certain players? The bottom line is this. They don't care about my team. Do you think if I hurt my ankle, and I'm not wishing a season-ending injury where he doesn't come back. I'm looking for a hamstring or something here, but that'll sideline him for the whole season. But what I'm saying is, that doesn't make sense. You're not looking for season injury. Sorry, I didn't mean, I'm not looking for career-ending injury. I don't want something catastrophic. We're looking for a hammy or something. Let me clear that up, okay? So if anyone's going to get hurt, it's going to be Dobbins, right? I don't want to see this guy on the field. And like I said, if you and I got a hamstring injury or an ankle injury or our shoulder is sore, do you honestly think that J.K. Dobbins would give a crap? I would say I would bet my house, I would bet everything on the fact that Dobbins or any NFL player would not care about us. So bottom line, it's about our teams. It's about my team, particularly my big money league. I want Harvey on the field. That being said, I don't care about Dobbins being there. I think he's going to get hurt, and that's the bottom line. And even if he doesn't get hurt, he sucks. Talent rises to the top, and Harvey is far superior. I think they brought him in just for, a veteran locker room presence. And I mean, they're only paying him 2.7 something million. And I think there's up to 5 million, I think, based on whatever incentives, performance, and all that stuff. He's not good. He's going to be hurt before the season starts. I'm all in on Harvey. And like I said, I get a discount for RJ Harvey. Does it annoy me? Yes. Now, when you look at other situations where I'm avoiding Hampton because of Najee, here's the difference, right? We know Najee can actually perform and be a workhorse back, right? Now you could say, well, Dobbins is not even, Najee sucks, right? But Dobbins sucks even more. But we know that Najee is going to get more volume than a Dobbins, right? And I'm telling you, man, and then you can get, and Hampton is more expensive than a Harvey. You get Harvey for a discount. He'll probably fall to 5 or 6 now with this acquisition of Dobbins. But bottom line is Dobbins sucks. Dobbins will get hurt. And I'm telling you right now, I'm still in on Harvey, 100%. Top 5 potential finish for RJ Harvey, regardless. The only thing is the Broncos are an annoying team. I remember years ago with Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman and all that. It was a disaster. I just think you don't invest a second round pick on somebody to bench him. This is the thing that really ticks me off. And going back to the props and the bets, these sites, I don't know if they're involved, but there's something going on where they want to mess it up. It looked like the clear valley to gold and milk and honey. Like when you look at RJ Harvey, like it was like, man, there's nobody else there. And that shows you how confident I was in Harvey and how bad Estime and McLaughlin are, that they would actually not even trust them as backups. They'd bring in crappy Dobbins. That shows you how good the situation is with Harvey, but then they have to bring in Dobbins. So this could mean one of two things. They don't trust Harvey, which I don't think that's the case. They would have drafted him in the second round, or Estime and McLaughlin suck so bad that they just need a solid backup in case Harvey would, God forbid, go down. But that is the way I'm looking at it, half glass full. Dobbins gets hurt, and even if he doesn't, it's still a 3-down workhorse situation for RJ Harvey. That's where I'm going to leave it, okay? You got to be optimistic, got to be positive about your players. And remember, these players don't care about you. They just don't, right? And so many people get angry when I say, oh, yes, this player got hurt, so my player, because I'm not wishing injury, but I'm happy that my player gets to play, per se. And that's exactly what I would want here. I would want my player to play, which is RJ Harvey. Let me know your thoughts below. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on everything here to make sure you guys are aware of the impact. So backfield, Bills, stay away. When you look at the Texans, stay away. And I'm all in on Harvey. That's the recap. Subscribe, thumbs up. I'm going to keep the content rolling here for you. And make sure you guys do grab the 16-round draft so you will be light years ahead of the sheep. Have yourself an outstanding day. I'm out.